All right, gentlemen, it's been long enough. I apologize as a shitty commissioner that I made you guys wait so long, but this is what I intended on being the Cheese Weekly, and then after a month, the Cheese Quarterly. And at this point, we're 6 weeks through the season, and it's more like the Cheese Biannually. But make no mistake, the only thing bi in this league is Mike D. Don't act like I don't know how you look at me at work, Mike D, with those menacing eyes. Mike D is my first topic of discussion. Well, I'll say my second topic of discussion. My first is my attire. I don't know if you just heard my microwave just went off because I have some nice spaghetti waiting for me, which will surely run as cold as Trey's team by the time I'm done with this cast. So the Boston Red Sox, aka the greatest team in not only baseball history, but sports history, are on the verge of winning another World Series. So let's all take a moment to congratulate them. Cheers to you, Boston. You fucking rock. That said, 6 weeks in, your brave leader, the one, the only, Birdman, is number one. As I knew I would be from the start, because I thought I got the steal of the year. Number one pick. Who would you take with the number one pick? Would it be Todd Gurley, who was fantastic last year? Or would it just be the guy that is single-handedly the best PPR football player of all time, on a perennial candidate of a team to make the playoffs and or Super Bowl, that is like having a wide receiver 1 and a running back 1 on your team, scoring 400 fantasy points every single one of his years on the field? Who would you take? So fuck me, I took Le'Veon Bell. And that's good news for all of you cocksuckers, because if I had Todd Gurley with this team, I mean, it would just be a foregone conclusion that I was number one. Psych, number two. Because we all know that Shea has the best team. Despite that, I'm number one. Directly under me, by less than 3 points, is Jesse, who I also think deserves it. I believe it should be me and Jesse fighting each other for number one all year, because we are truly the two best fantasy footballers in this league, in my opinion. We draft well. We're constantly on the waiver wire. Morrow, you drafted a fucking sick team. Let's take a look here real quick. Let's see what Morrow did. Let's see where Morrow's team is at right now. Morrow's team clocking in at number 3. It should be a lot of number 1 in a lot of leagues. You got Aaron Rodgers. Of course, that's always a good pick. You drafted David Johnson. Didn't really work out the way you thought it would, but still a good pick. Jimmy Graham, you kind of had to take a risk and take him a little early just on his name, even though he hasn't really performed to the extent that he did in New Orleans. Nor will he ever, because, I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers is one thing, Drew Brees is a completely different animal. Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy, he wins these games 17-14, a lot of them, 19-17, 21-17. A lot of these games where they try to establish the run game, which Green Bay has not had for many years now. But he finds a way to win it. Just like tonight, 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the game, backed up on his own 10-yard line. A little bit of a questionable call. on that long third down that they missed, but they got themselves a first down. He made the most of it, made a big pass to Graham and Devontae Adams. So yeah, Rodgers is a stud, but in the world of fantasy football, I'd really rather have Drew Brees throwing to my guys. He has his favorites, and it's easy to see who they are each and every year. 6 years ago, my first year in my Outback League, I had Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, and I had to take Jimmy Graham in the second round, and I don't regret it for a second, because the two of them together were putting up damn near 50 points a week. It's pretty much unbeatable. Now he's more or less a dart throw. If he doesn't score a touchdown, it's really hard to break 20 points as a Jimmy Graham owner, but he did it. He took him. Morrow, good on you for having faith in the guy. It looks like he's going to be having a little bit of a career resurgence under Aaron Rodgers, especially with the help of the wide receivers in Green Bay not doing so well. That said, who else do we have here? You got Kenny Golladay. That's a big one. Kenny Galladay's a big one. I made a huge trade in my other league. I traded Philip Lindsay for Kenny Golladay, and I can't wait because I really think Kenny Golladay is almost like the next Megatron, man. If they could get rid of the name recognition of Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, I think Kenny Golladay, hands down, has the most talent in that wide receiver core. He is going to end up probably being, looking at your receivers, you're pretty shitty at receiver. You're really not looking very great. You do have Michael Thomas, excellent. Michael Thomas looking like the bargain pick of the year if you got him in the second round, because he's shitting on Antonio Brown, man. He is better than AJ Green. He is better than Julio Jones. The guy is a reception machine. He doesn't miss the ball. He got 98% of his first 37 targets. Are you fucking kidding me? Michael Thomas, you're a fucking stud. Morrow, good on you for having him. Outside of that, you got Inua. Anyone that rosters a Jet should second guess their life choices. Fucking Shea had to take a shot of gin and milk just to get Robbie Anderson, only to let him go on waivers and then take him back, and then not start him when he actually had a good game. That I do feel bad for Shea for. One of the few things I feel bad for him, other than how his face looks, is Robbie Anderson, man. There's a guy that last year was a fucking stud. Really like a Tyreek Hill kind of player. Maybe not the best route runner in the world, but the guy's got God-given speed that you can't take away from him. Can really outrun just about any corner or safety in the league. Good hands. Comes down with the ball, runs hard. He's kind of a little ghetto asshole, but it's not like he's a Deshaun Jackson ghetto asshole. He doesn't start before he crosses the plane. Once he crosses the plane, then it's Robbie time. But that being said, I really expected a lot bigger of a year, and I would have been surprised if nobody drafted him. Even though, again, drafting a Jet is for fucking assholes, because the Jets are just about the worst team in football, if not the worst. That being said, I'm losing my track here. So you're also starting Isaiah Crowell, which turns out to be a pretty good pick. So good for you on that one, because man, what a fucking bum in Cleveland. It just turns out Cleveland can't manage talent at all, because you also have Antonio Callaway, who has talent for sure, but he's a Cleveland Brown, so fuck that. Same thing with Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde, and Josh Gordon, who is a New England Patriot now, which brings me to my wardrobe change. Josh Gordon caught Tom Brady's 500th touchdown pass, shares a locker next to him, has moved to Massachusetts. The New England Patriots will find a way to use Josh Gordon, and when that happens, it might actually win Malcolm maybe a game or two this year. Crazy. The way this year started, looked like the way Malcolm's last year was. Malcolm had a great team last year, but, you know, he missed the playoffs because he just kept losing so goddamn much. But what ended up happening is whenever Malcolm played a team, that team, regardless if they were first or last, had the best week of their fucking life. Every player goes off when they play Malcolm. It's crazy. It's like a conundrum. It's an anomaly. How does this keep fucking happening to this poor bastard? Especially because we all work together, minus you, Franklin, which, fuck you for not being in the group chat yet. Can you please just get in the group chat, Franklin? You're so prolific with your Shakespeare of words. Hold on a second. I have a text from you here. Dan, I'm going to dick you down for the rest of the season. I'm going to dick down your life. You are a modern day Shakespeare. And this league can use that kind of shit talk. Because we have plenty of it, but not from an outside eye. Anyway. That being said, I forget where I was. Who was I even fucking talking about? I have no idea. I'm pretty drunk. And you want to know why I'm drunk? Because I am celebrating my win this evening. And the Warm Pink Centers being number one as they should be. Now let's talk about fucking A. Let's talk about the rest of the season thus far. So we need to definitely make a point of getting on Mike D for drafting Mark Ingram in the first round. Mark Ingram in the first round. Now, that being said, the clear pick for Mike to have taken at that point in the first round out of the 11 spot where running backs are key would clearly be to take Dalvin Cook. Not only did he look like a stud last year, crazy great running back, tons of talent, young, had a whole off season to just relax, recuperate. You're on a great team that now has a great quarterback, two top tier wide receivers in Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. It keeps the defense honest. Take Dalvin Cook, man. And it's your favorite team, man. Who the fuck is even a Vikings fan? Have you ever even been to Minnesota, Michael? It's a goddamn cesspool. It's fucking cold, it's windy, the people are shit, and it's all not good. Fuck Minnesota, and fuck you. Here's the deal, though. Dalvin Cook turned out to be a fucking bust. A bum. A wash. A wipeout. Dalvin Cook's career, I don't know, man. I feel like, what's he going to be like? He's going to be like a Chris Ivory. New York Jet Chris Ivory. Flashes of brilliance, but hardly worth the money. And as far as a fantasy draft pick, if you take him before the 4th round next year, you're a fucking asshole. Unless this guy goes absolutely nuts for the rest of the fucking year. However, Odell Beckham was also available. And I hate the fucking guy. I hate Odell Beckham. Here's a guy that's worth over $100 million. Odell Beckham, $100 million. In front of the round looking like a fucking test dummy out of Supercuts, headbutting fans, fucking losing fights to punting nets. Can't score a goddamn touchdown. Julio's allowed to have a season where he doesn't score a touchdown. You want to know why Julio's allowed to do that? Because he's been a number 1 guy for half a fucking decade, okay? The guy is lightning fast and can put up 40 points without scoring a touchdown, okay? Odell, you're on a garbage team and you're a garbage person, and there's no fucking reason on God's green earth for you to not be scoring touchdowns. That being said, Mike D, why did you not take Odell Beckham? You took Mark Ingram in the first round. What the fuck? And then you trade him. You trade him before he even plays a week. What in the world are you thinking? Your fantasy football life matches your attitude at work. Like nothing's going on, right? Saturday night, 2-hour wait, 48 names on the list, all your tables, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, all looking around like they're looking over the median on Route 17 like there's a car accident on the other side looking for their goddamn waiter. That's what you look like when you trade your number one pick before they even play, and then they score 2 touchdowns in the first 10 minutes of the fucking game. Are you kidding me, Mike D? You got Stefon Diggs. Good for you. Stefon Diggs is a talented athlete that pulls his goddamn groin every single fucking year that he has played in the league. He is one of the most natural, best route runners. He doesn't miss balls. He catches balls that weren't even targeted at him. He is a great receiver, lightning fast, steps up in the clutch, team player, fan favorite. Everyone loves him. Never plays a whole fucking season. Now you got Captain Kirk making fucking Adam Thielen look like the next Jerry Rice. The guy is built like a fucking hockey player, and he is running the train on this goddamn league. And you traded your number one pick for his number 2. You had 4 weeks, dude. Did you not see that Diggs is not the guy in Minnesota? I mean, I even put the trade through. I put the trade through early to let you use him against me because I don't care. I don't have any fear of Stefon Diggs. Nobody fears Stefon Diggs anymore. If you're up by 20 and you face Stefon Diggs, you think you have a chance. If you're up 20 and you're playing Adam Thielen, you're like, oh, fuck me. Deservedly. Because this guy is the first motherfucker in NFL history to have 6 games of over 100 yards to start a season. But you traded your number 1 pick for his number 2. Mike D, come on, man! Sorry, I come on, man, too up. Oh, shit. I literally was about to say I come on, man, too hard. But Mike D, you just do that to me. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's going on. So you have me at number 1. Obviously, really not a whole hell of a lot to talk about there. Got a great team. I made a public announcement to each and every one of you fucking assholes that Patrick Mahomes is up. Patrick Mahomes is up for grabs. Guys, he's on the waiver wire. Somebody should take him. I had Jared Goff and Deshaun Watson. And I'm still hawking quarterbacks. That's why I'm number 1. I dropped Jared Goff the night before Kansas City's first game for Patrick Mahomes. I'm not an if guy. We're not going to talk about if I started Patrick Mahomes, I'd be 6-0 right now. You know, if I had to go back in time, I would have done the same thing. Deshaun Watson was a fucking stud, an animal, a beast, an unstoppable force, the future of the NFL last year. I have no regrets starting Deshaun Watson over Patrick Mahomes in week 1. Good win on Jesse. Good game overall. I learned and I used Mahomes from that point forward. The 1 week that I benched him for Watson, Watson actually scored more points, which attests to my great coaching abilities. Cheers to me. That being said, let's look at the rest of my team. You got Keenan Allen. He's kind of underperforming this year, but he's a guy that it's really hard to get rid of. At this point, I'm kind of bent over a barrel, as they say. He's not performing well enough for me to trade my number 2 pick for anything less than like a top end running back or like a big name tight end, which I have Zach Ertz, so I'm not exactly looking for tight ends at this point in time. Robert Woods, super high on this guy, man. Thank God for Jared Goff. Goff is a great quarterback. Robert Woods is looking like the number 3 guy on that team behind Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks. I really thought he was going to be number 2 this year, if I'm being honest. But Jared Goff has found a way to make Brandon Cooks actually look good. Because despite his numbers, he is a fantasy football anomaly. The guy cannot run a fucking route, Brandon Cooks. He's just fast and he runs straight outs. If anything, maybe a hook here and there just to make the fucking touchdown, but not even a hook, a slant. Hook is too much for Brandon Cooks to really wrap his head around. But the guy's a pure runner. He's a fast guy. He's got really good hands. He doesn't drop the ball. But, you just got to, and before you call me out of line for talking about Brandon Cooks, you got to put something into perspective here. Here's a guy that was the number 1 on the depth chart for the New Orleans Saints under Drew Brees. And I mean, the guy put up 1,000 yards, but he never really looked commanding or dominant because he also had guys like Ben Watson, Willie Snead, Marquise Colston, Michael Thomas, guys like that also eating at his targets. He was never really able to separate himself from the pack and really make a name for himself. And then he went to New England, and you figured, like, hey, this might be like a Brady Moss thing with Brandon Cooks, which I hope Josh Gordon has more success than Brandon Cooks, because I really love Josh Gordon. But anyway, Cooks under Tom Brady, I mean, just really fell flat. What a really upsetting year. What a waste. And when guys like Tom Brady and Drew Brees can't make you a number 1 guy, I mean, come on. Who is? Jared Goff's doing a good job, and he's also spreading it around. There's 2 offenses in the NFL right now where you could literally draft 3 wide receivers from the same team and start them every week, and that's the Houston Texans and the St. Louis Rams. The Rams, man, the way they spread the ball around between Kupp, Cooks, and Woods, it's really incredible. These guys are putting up 20 points a game each. One of them's going to put up 30. One of them's going to put up high 20s. The other one's going to put up low 20s. I mean, it happens every single fucking week. God, if Houston could just get a better offensive line and stop letting Deshaun Watson get crushed 10 times a fucking game, then you'd have the Will Fuller, Kiki, and DeAndre Hopkins stack. Those 3 guys could put up 20 points a game easy. If you just gave Deshaun Watson 1.5 more seconds per drop back, I mean, the guy would be sniping people, and it just sucks watching this poor bastard just get crushed every single game. But going back to my team, Robert Woods, great pick, got him in 2 leagues, can't speak highly enough about him, and I got him in the late rounds. I think I got him in the 8th round here and the 10th round in my other league, which is pretty crazy when you're looking at the numbers this guy's putting up. I mean, his game log, week 1 was a little bit of a bust, 8 points, whatever. 15 points week 2. Not terribly impressive, but not worth dropping yet. And then 33, 21, 20, and 20. The guy has... the guy's got 100 rushing yards on the year out of the wide receiver slot. He's got 3 touchdowns, and he has 100 yards in each of his last 4 games. So the guy's getting work done. The other thing that we've noticed now is 2 or 3 weeks in a row, Cooper Kupp has had injury problems, concussions, hip, back, things like that. And it's kind of showing a chink in his armor, as they say. So maybe by the end of the year, Cup might get knocked out. Who knows? This guy's questionable every week now. Woods is a rock solid guy that can catch balls in traffic, doesn't drop a target. Good for me for having him. Le'Veon Bell. Drafted Le'Veon Bell at the first pick, but also a testament to how great I am. I got James Conner. He's okay. He's okay. James Conner, he's okay. I'm being modest. James Conner is looking like the future of that fucking team. I wasted my number one pick. My number one pick has not started the game yet, and I'm in first place. Cheers to me. And I got Zach Ertz. Honestly, I put him up there with Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski. Between me, you 11 assholes, and these four walls, I like Ertz more than Kelce or Gronk. You want to know why? Because Philly's receiving core is a bunch of fucking washed up bums. Ertz and Wentz look like they're brothers, and it shows on the field. Ertz is the tight end to have. Surprisingly enough, he is the one player on my team that I refuse to trade. You could have Patrick Mahomes before you get Zach Ertz from me. You can pry Zach Ertz from my cold, dead fucking hands. So, Chris Carson. Let's talk about Chris Carson for a second. Actually, let's not, because I'd rather fucking hang myself. I fell into my own goddamn trap. I broke one of my own fucking cardinal rules. You do not draft a Seattle running back, because no matter how good they are, Seattle will find a way to make them look bad. Fuck Seattle. If there's a goal line opportunity and there's a guy to rush it, Russell Wilson's taking it himself. You just have this ragtag crew of Doug Baldwin, who actually views Doug Baldwin as a wide receiver one. I don't care what he's billed as. I don't care what the depth chart says. Doug Baldwin is not worth a first, second, third, or fourth round pick. Keep in mind, Adam Thielen went in the third round. Devontae Adams went in the third round. Doug Baldwin has never, ever looked convincing in this role as an A.J. Green or a Mike Evans. Not that I like either one of those guys, but that's what he's billed as. He just looks like an old guy that you're happy to see out there still fucking able to walk a couple of yards without tripping over the 30-yard line. Let alone a fucking wide receiver one. But he is on the best team, though. And I'm not talking about the Seahawks. I'm talking about Shay's team. Killer Shay's. It's just the most lackluster, boring fucking team in the league. It's just full of fucking names and nothing else. Shay's team is like a fucking, is like a walk-in closet full of last year's handbags to a millionaire model. A lot of names, a lot of recognition, and nothing to fucking show for. Shay, you have the best team. Geesh! I need a drink after fucking saying Shay's team is the best team, because even ironically, I can't believe it. The guy's rostering at one point 3 Jets! 3 New York Jets in 2018! I can't even believe he has the best team. But he does. Moving on. The gentleman that I think, which, you know what, we haven't given credit to, Jesse, this one's for you. Mr. Jesse is the Fantasy Reaper.